Hey everyone, apparently you got too much time in your hands because you're watching this. And you probably, if you watched any of my other videos, you probably noticed my hair got a lot shorter. So thank you, Dad, and more importantly, thank you, Yvonne, for fixing what Dad did. Okay, now, got actually quite a few things I want to talk about today, so gonna get started right away, I suppose. First thing is, a few weeks back, I was kind of bored one night. Well, I've been subscribed to this YouTube channel for quite a while now, a couple of years. It's mostly gaming related stuff, but this guy, well, twice a month now, I guess, he's been doing like user submitted lists of, well, whatever you submit basically. Sometimes it's game related, sometimes it's movie related, sometimes it's stupid stuff about museums, but well, I decided to write a few of my own lists and send them in. So I wrote about the good and the bads of being a gimp, because, well, it's what I know. And, well, anyways, so they ended up reading in a 2 hour show. They spent about a half hour talking about the three lists I sent in alone, and well, they pretty much hit the nail on the head about every one of them. And for the most part, it's not just about being gimped, but they're true across really any kind of disability, or even, you know, just any kind of differences in a person that's not the norm. And well, if you want to check that out, I'll post a link to the channel below, and I'll post the video too in the comments. I'll timestamp it so you don't have to watch 20 minutes of other stuff first. So you can if you want, but you know. Anyways, so next thing I wanted to talk about is well, I think it was either last week or the week before now, but anyways, it's not really important. I'm in the hospital right now, and well, we get our food trays whenever they come, which usually, the same time every day. Breakfast comes at breakfast comes at 8, lunch comes at noon, supper comes at 5, and it's pretty much the same thing every day. Slight variation, but well, it's a hospital. There's only so many things. So after 9 months, it gets pretty old pretty fast. Anyway, so this one particular day, there was something a little different about the tray. Uh, there's something very similar to this. These little stars came with it. Uh, guess one of the elementary schools in town here had the kids write these for the people in the hospital or whatever, and well, the this one I got with came with my supper tray, and I got another one at noon that day, and well, this little girl says, "How are you?" and my name is whatever. I'm in grade two, and my class is, sending these stars out to the people in the hospital. So yeah, there you go, something like that. But then the very last thing on there is what really kind of got my attention. Just like it says here, you are a star. And well, I I really couldn't just let that go casually by. So I got out my pen, and on the back of that, I had to write back to the little girl and explain to her that I'm no star, I'm no hero, I'm just me. I'm a guy who's dealing with a crappy situation, and well, one day it's gonna get better. I mean, maybe it'll get worse, but it doesn't mean I'm an inspiration. It doesn't mean I'm a star. It doesn't mean anything. And the real stars in somebody's life are people like their parents or their friends or the teachers or the soldiers fighting overseas for their freedoms. The people you can really learn from, and be it because of something good or something bad, it's all a learning experience that goes towards making us who we are as people. Mm, I'm no star. I'm just me. Mm, and the last thing I wrote on there was something to the effect of, always strive to reach the stars, but don't let the earth pass by in the meantime. Which is something I've been guilty of too many times myself. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. And so I asked the nurse about making sure the little girl would get that, and well, kind of went from there. Apparently, they want to do is the um the hospital wants to do a story about it in their newsletter thing, and they want me to actually, if it's all right with her parents, to meet with the little girl and stuff, and asked if I'd maybe be interested in volunteering in the schools once I'm finally out of here. And
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
you know, I'd love to, for one. Consider that a consider that a real honor and a real something really important is to be able to in some way help with these young people's development and make them I guess make the next generation better than the last one. So I'm not saying the last generation was bad. I'm just saying as long as we keep striving for improvement and a little bit at a time, on a wall by wall basis, to quote myself, then the world will be a better place, I suppose. So yeah, um, the next thing I wanted to talk about was kind of tied into that last one now. If you saw the Super Bowl and you saw the halftime show, these ads they had about, well, the inspiration porn basically, where they show people with a disability doing all this great stuff or whatever, and blah blah blah, and oh well, they can do it, why can't you? What's your excuse? Well, first off, piss off. Okay, Eh, I did a little looking into this. I did a Google image search of handicapped, and other than a million different handicap signs, the only pictures you ever see are either somebody with a handicap climbing a mountain, swimming in the ocean, or with their arms in the air like this, or some lonely gimp in a in a hospital wheelchair. So I'm presuming these people aren't actually handicapped. There's somebody holding on to them with their arm around them. They're gonna die soon. I'm here for you. It's okay. And no real middle ground. No, just, you know, it's not, it's always about, hey, you're an inspiration, or hey, oh, poor you. There's nothing like, hey, how's it going? You know, how are you today? Talk to me like I'm a person, okay? Don't talk to me like I'm something special because I got up today and went to the store. I'm not. Again, I'm me. And I'm probably gonna be doing a whole nother video about just that in particular, because I can literally go on about that for days. And okay, the last thing is now if you don't know, I'm in Canada and well, Alberta, which is part of Canada, though if you look around Ottawa, you wouldn't know it. Anyways, except for the money. Anyways, so recently they decided that assisted suicide, uh, doctor-assisted suicide, if somebody's suffering, unnecessarily suffering, and there's like no chance of getting better or anything, we're gonna go ahead and say that's okay. But then, of course, where do you draw the line and what is it's not gonna get better? Because, there's plenty of people like me who are handicapped who are, you know, I'm never gonna not be paralyzed. That's, you know, that's the way it is. I've accepted it. I'm fine with it. I'm living my life perfectly happy with it. But then again, you get the Eeyores of society who have to sit around and go, "Oh, poor me. I'm never gonna amount to anything." So, is depression gonna be something that turns into never getting better and reason to die, or obesity, or you know? And there's no right or wrong answer to this. Just like there's no right or wrong answer to anything, really. There's always room for. If you don't look at both sides of anything subjectively, then you're not making any progress towards towards either goal. You're just defeating the whole purpose of everything. So, anyways, when I was hearing about this on the news, there is one particular bit of media that came along, and I'm gonna play that.
I was fired from the Sunshine Home. It was on account of a very old lady, Mrs. Dillon, who they was trying to keep alive, but she didn't want that no more. I was sitting with her while she was dying and holding her hand, and I didn't call nobody. See, she was 82 years old, and she had a wonderful life, but she was very sick, and everybody she knew was gone. And she couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom by herself. And she said that her dead husband, Arthur, was waving to her, from the other side. And she said that the Lord told her, Loretta, it's time. I asked her if I could do anything, and she said, just sit beside me, Edith, and hold my hand. So I did. And she went, and they fired me.
If you had that day to live over, Mrs. Bunker, what would you do?
Just what I did.
Basically, all I've got to say is, by all means, if you want to form a proper opinion, do some research for yourself. look into it, form your own opinions, and be subjective, okay? Don't just look into it and just to try to reinforce what you came up with in the first place. Be willing to look at both sides of the issue equally and determine, which makes the most sense to you. Because what makes sense to you might not make sense to me. It might not make sense to the guy beside me. It might make a little bit of sense to the next guy, but not quite the same as you. So, I don't know. Think, I guess. Okay, I guess I'm gonna end it there. Thanks for watching. And I guess keep reaching for the stars. Thanks.